Hello, I'm Chef Renee and welcome to the show Taste Buds. On today's episode of the show, I'm going to be taking you on a culinary adventure into deep of Italy. Where exactly? The region called Bologna. And in this region, they have the fantastic sauce, a very healthy, meaty sauce called the Bolognese sauce. I'm sure you're all familiar with the sauce Bolognese sauce. Yes, today I'm going to be making for you the Bolognese sauce with the penne pasta. I can taste it already, how delicious it's going to be. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with that. Now we're back to this. What exactly do we need to bring this Bolognese sauce to life? I'm going to tell you. Of course, we need minced meat. What is a Bolognese sauce without the minced meat? So we have the minced meat. We have the tomatoes. Of course, it's Italy. It's tomatoes everywhere. So we have some tomatoes already chopped up there. We have some carrots because we're going authentic Bolognese. So we have carrots. We have celery, which we're going to chop up as well. Of course, it's deep Italian. So we have onions, we have garlic, we have some parsley, we have oregano, we have black pepper, of course, penne pasta, olive oil, and white wine, and the tomato paste. What is an Italian sauce if you don't have all of these ingredients? So we'll get right to it. If you're ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. So are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's do this. First, I'm going to get my pots and my pans and put them right here. Now I'm going to fill this pot with water because we're going to start our pasta on that one. You have tomatoes, you have onions, and at the end of the day, it looks really simple, but it's filling and delicious. You put it on the table and your friends think that you have put in more effort than you actually have. So I love Italian food because of this. I haven't made that journey to Italy yet, but I will one of these days. And I know that when I do make that journey to Italy, it's going to be heaven. It's going to be heaven. Okay, so I have that water going on there. I'm going to put some salt in there to get it going. Put a little bit of oil so that my pasta doesn't stick together. And then while that is going on, I'm going to just turn that other way and I'm going to go with the onions because we're going to really, get some color on the minced meat. We're going to make sure that the meat, it's well caramelized, and so just chop them up in there like that, real good. We're gonna do some garlic as well. I find that when I want to cut my garlic, I want to crush it first because that makes it easier to give, a nice meat. So just gonna go like that on the garlic as well. Chop it real good. There you go. Get some sound in there too. Wish I had some Aruba music like ta na 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 na, or some old Italian grandma walks in there and says, "Oh, how are you doing, mi bella?" Something like that. But we don't have that going on today. So we have the pan. We're going to make sure that is hot as well. That is the secret to browning the meat. We want to make sure the heat is really, really high. Okay? And then when that is done, we're going to hit it with some olive oil. We're going to hit it with some butter. And the cooking really starts for sure. All of this is going to be done in about, say, 30 minutes. It's really fun food to cook, Before your kids come back from school, your husband gets back from work, or you get back from work, you have 30 minutes, you cook up something really amazing like this, okay? So let's check if that is hot enough. I love cooking with wine. I mean, sometimes I drink it, sometimes I cook with it, but I like to have it in the kitchen. It's really, really fun. While we're waiting for that to get hot, we'll just, continue with the chopping. We need to get some carrots in there, In the region of Bologna, like I told you earlier, they actually had the Chamber of Commerce in Bologna come up with a recipe that was authentic enough because everybody else around the world was making Bolognese sauce whichever way they wanted. So they had the Chamber of Commerce come up with something really fantastic that will be like a template for everybody else. So if you are going to make a Bolognese sauce, you better be making it from the recipe from the Chamber of Commerce of Bologna from 1982. If you're not making it from that book, it's not authentic enough. I want to say that I'm not straying too far from the original here. Okay, so we want to chop. You can go as you know, tiny as you want on the vegetables, or you can go as large as you want. It's better if it's tiny, so it blends in with the mincemeat, and you just have that deliciousness going on in your mouth. Okay, so I'm gonna chop one more, and while that is going on, I have my pot. It's hot. I'm gonna just put some oil in there, just a little bit. And then I'm going to put some of my butter in there as well, because I want that rich feeling, that velvety, you know, smoothness that the butter brings, you know, in there. You can hear that sizzle, of course. That's olive oil meeting butter. It's heaven. Hear it. Okay. So where was I with my story? About Bologna. So yes, the Chamber of Commerce, they have come together to bring the recipe. So if you're making your own Bolognese sauce, you have to make sure that it's something original too, like the one that they have. And there are other recipes that have been botched like that. Lasagna, some kind of pizza. But in the true sense of it, try to keep to the originality of it as much as you can. Okay? So, just gonna go on the, there you go. I have my vegetables. I'm just gonna hit the pan with my onions, all chopped. There you go, that sound. That's the one that makes me want to cook all the time. That's it. Because I'm using a non-stick pan, I'm gonna hit it with, I don't have to tell you, but I'm gonna hit it with a wooden spoon, okay? So you wanna stir so that it doesn't get burnt. I'm gonna let that cook for a little bit. I'm gonna hit it with some garlic, and then I'm gonna hit it with some of my minced meat as well. And while that is going on, we're going to keep having this discussion, and I'm going to keep cutting my onions and my vegetables. Okay. Okay. Awesome. We're going to go on a break in a minute, but when I come back, I have some interesting things to tell you. Okay? So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we went on the break, I just put in the onions, and they're just getting a nice color, very great. Now I'm hitting it with the garlic. And the water is doing just fine. We're gonna add the pasta in a little bit. So here we go. Now I turned down the heat because I didn't want the onions to get really, really brown. So I'm gonna turn it back up, and then I'm gonna put the meat in and brown it. It really has to be brown. It's a big deal, you know, it has to really, really be brown, because that gives the sauce some more color, gives it some more body, gives it some more yumminess, some more deliciousness, okay? All right. See what I was saying about this being easy? We're almost done, and we just started. It's really amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the pan with the meat. I love that sizzle. It's amazing. That sound just makes me want to cook more and more. Okay, there you go. So we have all the meat in there. And now this is a very important step. You want to break up the meat. You don't want any clumps of meat in there. You don't want any lumps. You want all the meat just, you know, broken down in there, so that when the pasta hits the sauce, it just gives you everything, not holding anything back. So you want to break it up. So once we get some more color on that, that's the point where we season it. I'm gonna make sure that all the seasoning gets in there, not when it's done, but when it's almost there, so that the seasoning just comes together and boom, okay? I'm liking what I see here with the water. It's coming up. I'm seeing little bubbles. That's a good sign, okay? While we're doing that, I think we'll start on the baguette. I'm making garlic bread as well, because garlic bread with the with the pasta bolognese is amazing. You eat your bread, you scoop the sauce and the pasta. Forget the plane ticket. You're in Italy already, okay? So, yes, there's my bread knife. I'm going to get another chopping board. Voila. And I'm going to get the bread from right there. And you can get as fancy as you want with this. You can either cut it, you know, at that angle, or you can cut it round, or you can cut it round and then cut it into squares like croutons. It really is left to you, whatever it is you want to do. Now I'm gonna hit it with some butter. I'm gonna put it in the oven just so that it crisps up a little bit before I then hit it with some more butter and garlic. So now we have a complete garlic. Very easy. I'm sure you go to restaurants and you eat garlic bread, you're like, oh, it's so difficult to make. No, it's very easy. It's almost done. Look at this. It is almost done. I'm not forgetting my meat. I can see all the action going on there. I can hear and sense if it's almost done. So, okay, so I'm about to put the garlic bread, start the garlic bread up in the oven. We're gonna go on a break now. When we come back, we'll finish that up and continue with the pasta. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so while we went on break, I put the pasta in there. So now it's cooking at the right temperature. This is looking great. I love the color. And you can see as it cooks, the water begins to just come out of it. And that is part of what is going to add to the juice of the sauce. So it's going to be a very saucy yumminess. I cannot wait. And the smell from here, by the way, it's just heavenly. Very, very heavenly. I love it. Wholeness, that deliciousness of everything coming together. Everybody playing their roles. I still haven't put my garlic bread in there, so. Okay, so I have my garlic, the bread started, the garlic bread started in the oven. I have my pasta cooking here. I have my meat also cooking now. Everything's looking great over here. Guess what I'm gonna do next? I'm gonna hit this with some wine. And I'm gonna let it cook down, all of the alcohol. Oh yes. Any sauce that is cooked with wine is bound to be delicious. I know. And when it comes to the wines, you know, you have different things you can use. You can either use a red wine or a white wine, something very nice, fruity with lots of aroma, a nice boost in your mouth is great. You don't need to break the bank to get a wine. You can get any of the really inexpensive bottles, okay? So, just gonna let that cook. We're gonna let the alcohol just cook down in there, okay? While this is going on. I'm gonna teach you a trick today when it comes to your pasta. But there are a lot of you, when you cook your pasta, you just let the water just go in the sink. You just toss it in the colander and then you just let the water go in the sink. No, 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 no. That's not how to go. You need some of that starch in the pasta to go in the sauce, because then it gives it a nice coating and then it also gives it some more body as well. So it adds some more juice to it and everything is just yum in your mouth. I cannot tell you how much. You just need to taste it. So while we're at that, I'm just gonna make the garlic butter that is gonna go on our garlic bread. That's some parsley. I'm just gonna chop it up real nicely with a good chop over there. And once that is done, I'm gonna get my garlic crusher. And I'm gonna crush 2 cloves of garlic in there. Simply because what is your garlic sauce without all of that garlic in there? You know, you might want to just do a quick old mince, because sometimes your garlic crusher doesn't do the work complete. So you still have like little strands of garlic like that in there. So you just want to put that out and just do a quick chop on it. Rough chop. Doesn't have to be anything fancy or pretty. Just quick, you know, quick dice. Quick chop chop. Okay. Everything is still looking good on this side. The meat is cooking down nicely, cooking down all the alcohol. And the pasta is looking great too. We just want it al dente. We don't want it cooked soft. Just want it cooked perfectly, okay? So we have the parsley. We put in with the butter and the garlic and just stir it together. The butter has to be really soft so that you can do this because okay, and for those of you who don't know what al dente means, just as I was saying earlier, I just thought of that now. Al dente means cut to the teeth. So that means that it is not too soft, it is not too hard, it is just right there. It's a little bit hard on the outside, but soft and yummy on the inside. That's it. It's just right there to the teeth. Just perfectly cooked right there. That's what al dente means. And you can never know if your pasta is done if you don't taste it. You can't tell by looking at it. You have to taste it to be sure that you have the al dente feel of it. Remember I told you we're in Italy, so al dente is an Italian word. So, it just makes sense. Okay, I'm going to get my bread out of the oven and then I'm going to smear it with some garlicky butter goodness. Look at those ones. They look nice and crusty. Just want to bite into them, but I can't. At least not now. I have to wait until everything's done. So you just want to be generous. You have to be very generous with the butter. Be very generous in spreading it. And these bad boys go back in the oven. Not for too long, just for a tiny little bit. When we bring them out again, we'll be almost ready for our yummy, yummy deliciousness. Now it's about time to hit this with some of the tomato. Yum. Just dump that in there. And go stir, 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 so that you can get everything, because even the ones on that side adds to the yumminess of the dish, okay? You're gonna get some tomato paste, about a tablespoon. Dump it in there as well. While you're doing that, don't take your eyes off the pasta. These look like they're done, but then again, you have to taste to know. Al dente. Now I want to hit this with some bouillon cubes. 2 of them, maybe. Or if you have stock, you can use your stock. But if you don't have any stock, you can just use your bouillon cubes. Stock cubes to some people. Just squish that over there. And at this point, because you put some tomato paste in there, you have all the juice and everything. It might get a little bit thick, so you can put some water in it to make it a little bit more saucier. Okay, I'm gonna hit this with some oregano. Okay. And like I said, when it comes to your pasta, don't drain the water because we're going to use the water from the pasta to finish up the sauce, okay? Not everything, but a little bit of it, okay? So, you want to take something like this, like a spoon or something with holes and just, you know, oh, look at that. Look at that, baby. Okay, we're gonna hit it with some cheese. And we're still gonna hit it with some more cheese after we're done. Just before we dig in. Yes. I like how all the clumps of the vegetables are just peeping out of the pan. You have the carrots, the celery, the tomatoes. Everything's just, you know, coming out and looking at you and saying, hello, you know, over there. So this looks amazing. I love it, love it, love it. Just gonna chop some parsley quickly because that's what we finish it with. And you always toss the parsley with the pasta. You don't put it on top. You toss it with it. If you have some basil leaves, you can put that as well. Fresh basil leaves. That adds to the flavor. Oh, look at that. The colors are just amazing. Look at that. I like what I see, and I'm sure I'm ready to dig in. Okay, now it's time to get my bread. I'm gonna get my bread out of the oven, and then we're gonna go on a break. When we get back, I'm gonna plate this up and we'll have a taste. Don't go nowhere. Awesome! Everything is done, ready. I've been starving, so I'm glad that everything is ready. So now it's time for me to put the food on the plate, and then the most interesting part of everything, eat it. Look at that. Ooh, just look at that. It is so glossy. You can tell that it's just going to be firm yet soft to the teeth. The meat looks good. The colors are popping. I mean, what's more? You come back home after work and you have this to eat. Why wouldn't you say thank you, God? Of course you would. Or how would you say it in Italian? Grazie Diosmo, grazie. Of course. So, here we go. We have that. I have my garlic bread as well. I'm just gonna put one piece right here, of course. And I get to do the honors. Let's go. Let's see how good this tastes. No jokes. This is the best pasta I have tasted. Great. The bread, it's crunchy, it's soft, garlic butter, it's just amazing. Deliciousness. The bread is crunchy, it's soft, it's delicious. Garlic, butter, parsley, everything just present in there. Amazing dish this is, I'm telling you. Perfect. I could go to sleep right now, but I'm not going to. When I get back, I'm going to give you some amazing food tips. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Our food tip for today is naturally sweet vegetables such as corn, carrots, beets, sweet potatoes, yams, onions, and squash. Add healthy sweetness to your meals and reduce your cravings for other sweets. So instead of picking up a piece of cake or a muffin or a brownie, why don't you grab a carrot, a can of corn, or something like that. You get filled up throughout the day and you still get goodness, sweetness, and you stay healthy, okay? So let's keep that up instead of the bad habits, all right? And if you want to be part of this, you can just check us up on Facebook, R2TV. If you have any questions, just hashtag Ask Chef Renee. And if you make an attempt at this and you want to show it off to the world, of course, go to our Facebook page, like I said, R2TV, and we'll be there to accept you and be with you all the way. Thank you very much for letting me bring this to you. I am so excited about this, and I'm excited about where next I'm going for you. Until I come your way again with another fantastic dish from another continent, this is Chef Renee signing out of here.
Baby fresh on the beats, be killing them all. My darling, what's up?
Baby, you're too much, yo.